Her classmates forced her head into the toilet and made her drink from it, and when she got home at night, her brother would beat her up again. This kind of life had been going on for the girl for 2.5 years. Today, when she opened the shoe cabinet, her shoes were once again filled with blades and nails. But even when she stepped on the nails and got hurt, she didn't dare say anything. When she arrived in the classroom, her desk and chair were covered with strange, sticky liquids, but the teacher just pretended not to see it. Obviously, this wasn't the first or second time this had happened. The girl could only quietly bear it, sitting down and letting the mysterious liquid soak through her short skirt. As usual, her classmates mocked and laughed at her, and when class was over, they still weren't satisfied and dragged her into the restroom to beat her up again. Things got even worse when her twisted classmates thought the daily bullying was becoming too boring and began plotting to call in upperclassmen to train the girl for them. The girl finally couldn't take it anymore and tried to refuse, but this only made her classmates angrier. Without a word, they grabbed her hair and shoved her head into the toilet again. She struggled desperately, but one classmate just stomped on her head. The only thing keeping her going was the stray cats living under the bridge after school. When she looked at those little cats, her pain seemed to fade away for a moment, and she poured out all her sadness to them. The cats listened quietly, but the girl had no idea that her classmates had secretly followed her. When she got home that night, she was just like air, completely invisible. Her parents only cared about her outstanding older brother. In the eyes of outsiders, her brother was polite, talented, and handsome, but only the girl knew that he was a true monster. Every time he felt pressure from his studies, he would break into her room late at night and use violence to relieve his stress. Even when his little sister begged for mercy, her brother just got more excited and yanked her hair, tormenting her in twisted ways until she passed out from pain every day. One night, her computer suddenly lit up by itself, and a website called Magical Girl popped up on the screen. Curious, the girl clicked on it, and a terrifying woman appeared, handing her a strange magic wand and saying, "From now on, you are a magical girl." The girl was so scared she immediately shut the computer. The next day, on her way to school, she saw a group of people gathered up ahead. They all looked frightened, and the girl thought to herself, could it be that cat? She didn't dare think about it or look, so she quickly ran past and went to open her shoe cabinet at school. This time, there were no nails inside, but instead, she found a strange toy pistol with a note saying it was a gift from the magical girl. She hadn't even figured out how to use it before she heard her classmates' voices, so she quickly hid it in her backpack. But when class ended, once again, her classmates beat her up. Numb, she lay on the ground, and this time, they actually called in an upperclassman. The upperclassman was thrilled to see her, and no matter how much she begged, it was useless. She tried to back away, but her classmates kicked her forward again. Gathering all her strength, she kicked back and then grabbed her backpack and ran away, escaping to the parking garage, where she hid and covered her mouth so she wouldn't make a sound. Her classmates searched for her, but eventually gave up and left. Just when the girl breathed a sigh of relief, she suddenly saw her classmate holding out a collar. It was the same collar she'd given to her beloved cat. At that moment, she could no longer lie to herself. The death of the kitten became the last straw that broke her. She couldn't hold back her hatred anymore and finally pulled out the magical toy pistol. With a flash, the two bullies disappeared and then reappeared on the railway tracks. But at that moment, blood streamed from the girl's eyes. That night, scared out of her mind, she wrapped herself tightly in her blanket, shivering, insisting to herself that she hadn't killed anyone. She suddenly remembered the website, but when she tried to search for it again, it had vanished. The next day, she went to mourn her cat, and meanwhile, her classmates gathered to mourn for the two dead bullies. The girl tried desperately to convince herself their death has nothing to do with me, but another classmate with a vicious glare was already locked onto her. After class, this classmate cornered her and demanded, "Did you do this on purpose? Did you lead them to the tracks?" The death of her friends had made the red-haired girl furious. She even pulled out a knife to threaten her, and her follower tried to stop her, but at this point, the red-haired girl didn't care about anything. She was ready to cut out the girl's tongue right then and there. The timid girl didn't even resist and slowly closed her eyes. When she opened her eyes again, she realized her attacker had frozen, unable to move. Suddenly, another hand pulled the knife away. It was the blonde-haired girl who had saved her. The blonde girl declared that she was also a magical girl, and her magical power was to stop time. She didn't understand why, with such strong magic, the girl still chose to suffer silently. So she showed her how to use magic, but the girl just couldn't accept it. The blonde girl had her own reasons for helping. It turned out that the so-called Magical Girl website was created to help unfortunate girls, granting them magical wands and powers. The girl's wand was the heart-shaped toy gun, which could instantly teleport any object, and the blonde's was a cell phone that could stop time. There were many magical girls out there, but not all of them were kind-hearted. Recently, a magical girl killer had appeared, who killed magical girls and took their wands. After explaining, they went back to the girl's house. Her beastly brother greeted them, putting on his usual perfect act for outsiders, but the blonde girl could see through him at once and knew he was a fake. The blonde girl warned her, although their magic was powerful, they couldn't use it limitlessly. Every time they used magic, there was a price to pay, like how blood had flowed from the girl's eyes after using her magic. Also, her body would also show a heart symbol, and each time she used magic, a little piece of it would disappear. When it's all gone, that means her life will also come to an end, but nobody knew who created the website or who that ghost-like person was, so the blonde girl decided to team up with her to find the killer together. The very next day, on the way home, they ran into a girl with pink hair who looked cute, but in the next second revealed her real twisted side. She was the magical girl hunter, but her face was nothing like the one shown in the earlier intel. Nuzamura quickly rushed over to stop time, but she was still a second too late. The pink-haired girl had already used her wand to create a special space that completely cut them off from the outside world, and since she had killed so many magical girls, she now had all kinds of wands, the strangest of which was a camera. She then aimed her wand at Jiawu, ready to punish her with an electric shock, and after one scream, Jiawu was paralyzed and numb. Because of her last experience, Jiawu was now too scared to use her tool to fight back, and when the pink-haired girl pulled out a hammer and was about to really hurt her, Jiawu was still hesitating, until finally, with Nuzamura's constant encouragement, she used her wand and, in a flash of light and mist, got herself out of danger. The next step was to find out where the pink-haired girl had been teleported to, and after thinking carefully, Jiawu found her under the stray cat bridge. The two of them managed to catch her, and Nuzamura wanted to know why the pink-haired girl had done so many bad things, but she stubbornly refused to talk. Nuzamura threatened her, saying if she didn't speak, she'd unleash all the cicadas in the park. So finally, the pink-haired girl revealed her reason. She was only grabbing wands for her own survival because a storm was coming and no one would be lucky when it arrived. But what was this storm? Turns out, not long ago, the website admin, yes, the one with the little braids, found her. Back then, she wasn't even the pink-haired girl yet, and told her about a hidden page on the site. When she clicked in, she saw something shocking. On August 11th, at 1923, the storm would come, the world would end, and the gates to a new world would open. Nuzamura and Zhao Wu were still confused, wanting to ask more, but the pink-haired girl suddenly coughed up blood and fainted under the pressure of holding so many wands. If you looked closely at the girls wearing dog collars in front of you, you'd see that they were actually national idols. They treated their fans like owners, and their concerts were almost as popular as her brothers. Among them, the blue-haired Loli was the most famous, but she was also a magical girl. Zhao Wu and Nuzamura got the news and immediately went to the concert. During the autograph session, Nuzamura used her magic cell phone to stop time, and Zhao Wu instantly teleported the blue-haired girl with her heart gun. They reappeared together in the wild outside the city. Once the blue-haired girl found out they were both magical girls, she became extremely enthusiastic and honestly was really cute and clever. Zhao Wu explained that one of their companions was badly hurt and asked what her magical power was and if she could help. But before the blue-haired girl could answer, her two managers ran over, saying her sudden disappearance was causing chaos at the venue and she needed to return right away. Before leaving, she gave them the address to meet her next time and was carried off. That evening, the two of them went to the meeting place where the blue-haired girl warmly invited them to her house. Nuzamura felt uneasy. Was this girl really that powerful or just too naive? But as soon as she opened the door, they were stunned. The blue-haired girl's wand was actually a chubby man, and not only that, she had 25 handsome boy demons at home, all of whom obeyed her every command. As long as she wore the magic chubby man, everyone had to listen to her. No wonder she had no fear. Who could beat such a powerful magic? Nuzamura realized that this kind of person could only be a friend, so she tried to get closer and asked if the blue-haired girl knew any other magical girls. But as soon as she mentioned the word friend, the blue-haired girl began to tremble all over. Turns out, she was best friends with Xiao Mei, and once, when she went to play with her, she witnessed a bloody massacre. Since then, getting revenge for Xiao Mei became her only goal. The two girls were scared stiff by this side of her. How could they even ask her to get info about the storm from the pink-haired girl now? Nuzamura then asked, "Why don't you bleed when you use magic?" But the blue-haired girl said the place she bleeds from is a secret. Realizing they couldn't get help, Nuzamura was ready to leave, but the blue-haired girl just waved them off, and so the three of them happily exchanged contact info before the other two headed back to the hospital. Looking at the pink-haired girl still lying unconscious, they had no idea what to do next. After all that, their only helper now had a blood feud with her. Zhao Wu suggested Nuzamura stop time and steal the magic chubby man, but Nuzamura thought it was too risky and refused. Neither of them noticed that the red-haired girl had overheard their whole conversation outside the door. Yes, she hadn't changed at all. Last time's wound only put her in a coma for a week. That night, the website administrator visited the pink-haired girl's hospital room, and the red-haired girl saw the strange visitor too. The administrator saw what she was thinking and asked if she wanted to become a magical girl herself, and that's how the new magical girl hunter was born. It was the shy girl's first day at a new school, and she was so anxious she couldn't even speak. She had no idea that, because of her social anxiety, it wouldn't be long before classmates forced her to drink from the toilet. The teacher seated her in front of the red-haired girl, who greeted her warmly, but the girl was too shy to reply. The other classmates mocked Li Nai for being ignored by the new girl, but Li Nai didn't mind at all. Instead, she became very interested in her. In gym class, the girl ran so slowly that the teacher made the whole class wait for her to finish. Everyone complained, but Li Nai stood up for her, and the teacher let everyone go. go, while Li Nai stayed behind to wait for her to finish running. Later, when the girl stuttered reading in class and the teacher asked her to do it again, Li Nai helped her out again, and after so much help, the girl really should have say thank you. But when her classmates found her, the girl still couldn't speak. Li Nai declared that she hated people who couldn't show gratitude more than anything. From that day, the girl's life turned into hell. Her shoe cabinet was filled with all kinds of filth. Her desk was covered with insults, and someone even put a giant cockroach in her textbook. Of course, all of this was the work of Li Nai's little gang. Nuzamura hoped Jawu could be stronger and stop blaming herself. She wasn't as weak and useless as she thought, and as her best friend, Nuzamura would always stand by her side. Jawoo's outlook slowly started to change, but when Nuzamura got home, she suddenly collapsed. Honestly, it all seemed to come down to communication. Jawoo had grown shy and anxious from years of bullying by her brother, so she struggled to connect with others, while Li Nai was extreme, helping others just for the sake of a reward, which was just hypocrisy. News broke that national idol Hong Hong Hai had quit the industry, making her fans cry their eyes out. When Jawoo got to school that day, she found that Nuzamura hadn't come, and her classmates were all gossiping about Hong Hong Hai's retirement. Li Nai showed up for class, her neck wound still obvious, and the teacher rushed in excitedly to announce something big. A new transfer student was joining them. Hong Hong Hai immediately spotted Jawoo in the crowd and shouted out to her, making the socially anxious Jawoo feel exposed. It turned out that Hong Hong Hai had left the spotlight because work kept her too busy to track down her friend's killer, so she chose to disappear. But this made Jawoo shiver because she remembered Nuzamura's words. If Hong Hong Hai found out what had happened to the pink-haired girl, she'd definitely kill her. Since Nuzamura hadn't come to school, Jawoo decided to visit her house after class, and Hong Hong Hai wanted to come too. But all of this was overheard by Li Nai hiding behind the door. After class, Li Nai went straight to Hong Hong Hai, telling her that the killer she'd been searching for was actually the one Jawoo and her friends were trying to save. Meanwhile, Jawoo went alone to Nuzamura's house and found the door unlocked. Inside, she found Nuzamura dying on the floor, tied up next to a man. The story flashed back to a night when a little girl got up to look for her mom, but when she opened her sleepy eyes, she found her parents lying in a pool of blood. The girl broke down, and the killer approached her, not to kill her, but ever since then, Nuzamura had lived in the murderer's shadow. Her happy life was gone, replaced by despair, until she discovered the Magical Girl website and received the time-stopping wand, which allowed her to punish her tormentor. Death was too easy for the killer. Nuzamura wanted him to live a life worse than death. But now, after using her wand too much, Nuzamura's body couldn't take it anymore. Jawoo wanted to call an ambulance, but just then, Li Nai showed up, saying Hong Hong Hai had gone to the hospital, and she herself wanted revenge for her dead seniors and friends. Li Nai attacked, but Jawoo dodged, and the killer was struck instead, dying on the spot. Nuzamura stared at the dead killer in silence. On the other side, Hong Hong Hai also failed in her quest for revenge. Nuzamura, with her last bit of strength, used a prepared space barrier to protect Phoenix, but the effort made her collapse. Jawoo, determined to protect Nuzamura, faced off against Li Nai in a duel, but she wasn't nearly as fierce as Li Nai, and soon was covered in injuries. Li Nai started to lose her mind, but Jawoo, ignoring her own pain, used her defensive wand to shield Nuzamura. The building was about to collapse, so at the last second, Jawoo used her wand to teleport Li Nai to the classroom. When Li Nai realized she'd been saved by Jawoo, she sat at her desk, lost in thought as she stared at the mess of soot and ashes covering the tabletop, but quickly snapped out of it. Meanwhile, thanks to the wand's lingering power, Jawoo and Nuzamura survived. Hong Hong Hai got word that her enemy was in the hospital, but Nuzamura had already set up defenses, so Hong Hong Hai couldn't get her revenge and left, thinking hard. Only those two girls knew she wanted vengeance. Fueled by anger, she stormed off to Jawoo's house. Since Jawoo's parents had gone to visit her in the hospital, it was the monstrous brother who opened the door. When Hong Hong Hai realized he was Jawoo's brother, she was instantly smitten, right? He was exactly her type. After they entered, the brother learned she was looking for Jawoo, so he called to check if Jawoo was safe, and after confirming she was, the two exchanged awkward smiles, each with their own hidden motives. The brother eyed Hong Hong Hai, thinking of Jawoo's new friends and the strange Magical Girl website, and decided that Hong Hong Hai might be a magical girl too and wanted to use her. Hong Hong Hai was having her own inner struggle as well. When she finally left, the brother thoughtfully handed her an umbrella, just so he'd have an excuse to see her again next time. Meanwhile, the pink-haired girl at the hospital got a new visitor, a girl who, instead of hurting her, cut her own arm to feed blood to the pink-haired girl, healing her instantly. The girl's name was Xiao Yu, another member of the Magical Girl website, with the power of healing, but each time she used her wand, she had to cut her arm, something regular people could never handle. But Xiao Yu liked self-harm anyway, and relied on medicine to keep her mind stable. Elsewhere, Jawoo and Nuzamura finally woke up after their battle with Li Nai. They'd been buried in the rubble, only saved by a new magical girl. Xiao Yu healed their injuries, but the lifespan man's sacrifice by using the wand couldn't be recovered. Xiao Yu explained that she was there to team up with them, since there were many magical girl websites in the world, each with different admins, but all with the same goal: the coming storm. On August 11th, at 1923, the storm would arrive, the king of humanity would be unsealed, and half of humanity would die, and the king would feed on humanity's negative energy. As long as enough negative energy was offered, the deaths caused by the storm could be avoided. Negative energy was stored using the magical girls' wands, and only by using the wands continuously and sacrificing the most magical girls could someone survive. But the website administrators only told a select few about the coming storm, which led to them fighting and killing each other, their wands draining their lifespans more every day. They became like sacrificial offerings for the storm, and the website admins didn't care if they lived or died. Xiao Yu believed things weren't that simple, so she decided to work with Nuzamura and the others to catch an admin and get answers. Meanwhile, the admins had a meeting, realizing someone was questioning the website and deciding to start hunting other magical girls. Xiao Yu agreed with Jia Wu to bring their friends in a few days to help, and after leaving the hospital, the now homeless Nuzamura went to stay at Jia Wu's house. Her parents were shocked. Such serious injuries healed overnight, it really seemed like magic, and the brother witnessed this too. The girls went to sleep, but Jia Wu couldn't rest, thinking of Xiao Yu's words. Her questions made Nuzamura share her deepest wish. She'd never been to the seaside. Jia Wu promised her they'd go, and that they still had many things to do together in the future. The scene shifted to a boy who was bullied for being a crossdresser, called names, and had his lunch dumped, even insults written all over his textbooks. He ran to the girl's bathroom to clean his wounds. His name was Xiao King, and he was a magical girl too. When Xiao Yu asked why he didn't use his wand to punish the bullies, Xiao King had his own reasons. That day, it was finally time for Xiao Yu's magical girl team to meet Zhao Wu's group. Meanwhile, Hong Hong Hai reunited with Zhao Wu and Nuzamura, and after learning all about the storm and their current situation, Hong Hong Hai agreed to help them catch the admin, but insisted she'd kill Pink Cat herself for revenge. Back in class, everyone heard there'd be a new student who turned out to be Pink Cat. Hong Hong Hai was thrilled to see her enemy walk right into the trap, immediately ready to use her magic for revenge. Nuzamura rushed up to tackle Hong Hong Hai and covered her mouth, and with no choice, had to break Hong Hong Hai's wand. Hong Hong Hai sobbed uncontrollably as she was stripped of her power, and in front of everyone, her idol status was shattered, her magic chubby man taken by Nuzamura, who planned to return it once she calmed down. Outside the office, Jia Wu and Hong Hong Hai went to the meeting spot, joined by Pink Cat and Nuzamura. Hong Hong Hai could barely contain her rage at Pink Cat, but powerless, she could only scream. Pink Cat even taunted her, so Jia Wu quietly comforted Hong Hong Hai's wounded heart. At that moment, Xiao Yu arrived with a group of magical girls. The long-haired, black-haired girl was Xia Shui, whose wand was a sword that could slice anything and make it stay that way. The little Loli, with a broom, was Meijiali, her wand a flying broom. And then Xiao Shu appeared. Her wand was an amulet to boost strength. Finally, Xiao King, mistaken for a girl and turned into a magical girl by the admin, had a wand that was a telepathic ring. The gathering was to plan how to catch the admin and get intel, but Nuzamura's side had almost all their wands stolen by Li Nai. Only Hong Hong Hai's chubby man and Xiao Marin's comb remained. Xiao Yu reassured them that with their support, they'd find the admin, and Xiao Qing promised to contact everyone as soon as she sensed anything. Meanwhile, Li Nai brought the wands to the admin, who thanked her for collecting them, but Li Nai said she'd keep them until she finished her revenge. Even if it cost her life, she'd never let the others go. The admin agreed for now, but inwardly thought, I won't make any more unnecessary mistakes. Now die. After the magical girl groups clashed, Pink Cat followed Zhao Wu home, and the radio brother welcomed them. While the three bathed and played, Zhao Yu called. Zhao Wu answered and learned from Xiao Qing's wand that Nuzamura's life was nearly used up, which Zhao Wu couldn't accept. To fulfill Nuzamura's wish, Zhao Wu and Xiao Yu planned a seaside trip for the next day. At the beach, everyone finally relaxed and had fun, and even Nuzamura smiled, the two girls promising to come see the ocean together again someday. Back in the locker room, Hong Hong Hai found her chubby man was missing, and Xiao Qing, through telepathy, confirmed no one in the group had taken it. It was a pervert who stole it while no one was looking. By brushing up against Hong Hong Hai, he learned about the magical girl website and began stalking them. This man was a total lunatic fan, worshipping Hong Hong Hai as an angel, always shouting loudest at her concerts. But when she suddenly announced her retirement, he cried rivers. One day, he spotted Hong Hong Hai on her way to Jia Wu's house and secretly followed her. When he saw an unknown man bring his idol inside, jealousy consumed him, feeling his angel was tainted. Later, he even saw the man on a date with his idol. Furious at home, he glared at their photo together and made a decision. He would kill that man. When he saw him at the seaside, he rushed at him with a knife. But Zhao Wu's brother calmly gave an order, and suddenly, the crazed fan found his body wouldn't listen to him at all, as the brother smirked and mocked him. Then, even more humiliated, Humiliatingly, the brother began to strip off his pants, saying, "My pants are now your pants for your entire life, forever and ever." The brother looked at the man's pained expression, which only made him more excited, so he wanted to play something even crazier. He ordered the man, still clutching the knife, to walk into the ocean, and the man's body moved against his will. Even though the man didn't want to die, he was powerless under the brother's command, and until his last breath he cried out his idol's name. All this was witnessed by Kaolu, who happened to be passing by. The brother instinctively turned around, but didn't see her because Kaolu quickly hid. Just then, Nuzamura walked by, calling Kaolu to head home together, and Kaolu reluctantly followed but couldn't stop herself from glancing back, her heart uneasy. After a whole day of play, everyone boarded the bus to go home, but Kaolu was deeply worried. She couldn't forget the look in her brother's eyes and was sure he knew about the magical girl website. Xiao Qing, through her telepathy, also understood the truth of what happened and made up her mind to solve the problem herself without anyone else getting hurt. On her way home, Hong Hai ran into Zhao Wu's brother who had been waiting for her. Meanwhile, the group that lost their chubby man ended up at Xia Shui's house, and Hong Hai brought the perverted brother back to her place, thinking he was just returning her lost item. The ridiculous part was she ended up putting it on herself. Then the brother threw her a rope. Fortunately, Xiao Shu arrived just in time, and with Xiao Xing using her telepathy, Xiao Shu's actions were shielded from the brother's wand control. But then, under the brother's earlier command, Hong Hai suddenly choked Xiao Shu with all her strength. Xiao Qing realized her magic was being overridden and told Mei Jiali to run, but Xiao Shu had already attacked. When Xiao Qing fell, Xiao Shu snapped out of it and rushed to Xia Shui's house with her for help. Seeing Xiao Qing barely alive, Zhao Wu was overwhelmed with guilt and donated her blood until Xiao Qing slowly regained consciousness. Then, footsteps echoed outside and two of the girls dashed out. The pervert had barged into the girls' bathhouse, and because he wore Hong Hai's magical chubby man, no one could resist his orders. He immediately kicked Zhao Wu. Since she had recently used the healing wand, her blood still had healing powers, and the brother grabbed her hand to suck her blood, truly disgusting everyone. Next, he grabbed Xia Shui's sword and ordered Hong Hai to collect everyone's wands. When Hong Hai got to Xiao Qing used telepathy to wake her up. Seeing all her friends wounded and suffering for believing this trash, Hong Hai's rage exploded. Despite Xiao Qing's desperate pleas, Hong Hai snapped and charged at the pervert, but fell. The brother thought the threat was over and turned to leave, but with her last ounce of strength, Hong Hai shattered a glass and stabbed it into him. The pervert finally collapsed, but even then he squirmed, believing that as long as he got the healing wand, he could survive. But when he reached for it, a transparent person stomped on his hand, and with a puff of smoke, the brother vanished. When Chao Wu woke up, everyone was gathered around Hong Hai, who, though not breathing, had a smile on her face. Hong Hai had always loved performing, believing that bringing happiness to people with her smile was true joy. Inspired by her friends Xiao Mei and the others, she became an idol, but when she came home, her nightmare began. Debt collectors hounded her family, her father hanged himself, and the debt collectors tried to assault her mother. Hearing this, Hong Hai rushed at them, but a frail girl couldn't fight grown men. After that, she received an invitation from the magical girl website and chose to become an idol to end her family's misfortune, even using her wand to erase their memories of her father's death. Now, maybe Hong Hai was truly happy in another world. News of her death as a national idol exploded across the media, and at her funeral the next day, the place was packed. All the magical girls gathered, mourning quietly as Hong Hai rested in a flower coffin. Kaolu arrived late and whispered to her, promising never to let anyone else get hurt and to protect everyone's lives. In the lounge, Kaolu suddenly pulled out her gun, and with a loud bang, the room became rubble. But she had actually teleported everyone to a secret chamber for safety. While the others were still confused, Kaolu took out her phone and Li Nai, who had disappeared for ages, appeared. The day before, Li Nai had found Kaolu and warned her that the admins were about to attack, expressing her anger at their cruelty and choosing to side with the magical girls. When everyone wanted to take back their wands, Kaolu refused. She wanted to use them all herself, trading her life to fight the admin alone and keep everyone else safe. Nobody wanted her to face it alone, but when she threatened them with the electric wand, Nuzamura didn't hold back, landing a massive slap. The two healed each other's hearts, and at last, everyone got their wands back, ready for the final battle with the admin. Their investigations revealed that the admin always delivered the wand in person, and soon they discovered the admin's next target. The magical girls split up. Kaolu's team guarded the school. Xia Shui's group lay in wait near the target's home. Kaolu was heavy-hearted because if Nuzamura used her wand again, she'd die. Suddenly, the admin appeared humming a tune, and just as she put down the wand, Pink Cat dashed out, ambushed her, and successfully cut off one of the admin's legs. But the admin fought back for real, smashing the school with a single punch. Just as she was about to attack again, the school guard rushed over, and seeing how ruthless the admin was, Pink Cat launched another sneak attack, but this time time, the admin was ready and caught the attack, the impact sending a massive shockwave that swept through the entire building. Meanwhile, Xiao Qing and the others at home realized what was happening and rushed toward the school. Pink Cat possessed Nuzamura, trying to use her wand to stop time, but Kyolu stopped her. The admin spotted them, and as she charged forward, Pink Cat finally used the electric wand, while Kyolu quickly teleported the admin to the rooftop where Li Nai was waiting. Li Nai finished the job with a deadly blow, and Pink Cat jumped in to make sure the admin was really dead. For a moment, everyone celebrated their victory, but then purple smoke suddenly rose from the admin's body. As the smoke cleared, they were all shocked to discover the admin was actually a girl. At the same time, other magical girls hurried over. Xia Shui was about to use her wand to fly over, but the Killer's Alliance stopped her. A new admin rushed in, and Little Braids arrived on the battlefield too. Little Braids immediately shot Li Nai twice as punishment for her betrayal. She had known about the magical girl's plan all along and used the other admins as bait. Zhao Wu quickly told Mei Jiali to help, and Nuzamura stepped up, but before she could use her wand, Little Braids shot it to pieces. Now, without her wand, Nuzamura charged at the admin. Zhao Wu couldn't hold her back. Little Braids fired wildly ahead, and following the cover of smoke, Nuzamura tried to sneak attack with Li Nai's wand, but it didn't harm Little Braids. Luckily, with her second wand, she managed to protect everyone, but Nuzamura's badge had now disappeared, signaling her life was at its end, and with those final words, she stopped breathing. Zhao Wu was heartbroken. Soon after, the website welcomed a new admin, Nuzamura Lunan. She was taken to another world by Little Braids, who told her that her misfortune had been recognized by the king. Nuzamura asked who the king really was. The king gained power by absorbing negative energy, fueling the storm. When the storm hit, it would wipe out humanity's negative energy so people could evolve into higher beings, but most would die. The world after the storm would be the king's perfect world. Nuzamura was brainwashed by all this, becoming a cold, emotionless admin. Her death shattered Zhao Wu, who immediately used her wand to teleport everyone away. As Zhao Wu prayed, Nuzamura opened her eyes. She was revived, but now full of killing intent. Her clothes and wand were restored, but her power was on a whole new level. Meanwhile, Little Braids showed off her one-handed clap trick, and Nuzamura attacked Zhao Wu. The upgraded wand could now fire energy blasts at will, and the gap in strength was huge. Zhao Wu had to dodge and fight at the same time. On the other side, Mei Jiali finally arrived to help Shakshui, who escaped on her flying broom while the admin's many clones stacked up like a human pyramid to chase them. Shakshui spotted the power tower, and together they rushed for it. At the top, Shakshui shed her coat and struck a blow that ended the admin. Mei Jiali caught her as she fell. Meanwhile, Li Nai was revived with the healing wand, and Zhao Wu teleported the two to the sea they had promised to visit again. Zhao Wu tried to awaken Nuzamura's memories here, but Nuzamura still attacked. Zhao Wu fired back, redirecting Nuzamura's attack into the ocean, forming a huge droplet of water. Nuzamura caught it in her hand, and Zhao Wu walked closer, talking about their promise. As the distance closed, Nuzamura suddenly grabbed Zhao Wu by the neck. Zhao Wu wanted her to live and pressed the gun to her own heart. She was like a light shining into the darkness for the crying little Nuzamura, who had watched her parents die and hid in a corner, silently wishing for help. In that moment, Zhao Wu gave all her warmth and love to little Nuzamura. Finally, Nuzamura regained her senses, hugging Zhao Wu tightly and sobbing. Little Braids arrived, but at that moment, Zhao Wu opened her eyes. She wasn't dead. She had used the wand to transfer half of her remaining life to Nuzamura, and together, they used their power to teleport Little Braids into a frozen world. Seeing the motionless world, Little Braids realized she had lost and asked her final question. Zhao Wu looked back on everything that had happened. As time returned to normal, the admin vanished and the battle was finally won. The story ended, but wait, there was an extra scene. The perverted brother who disappeared in the last big battle was actually taken away by the blue-haired police officer. The blue-haired cop had countless wands, but if a wand wasn't used by a magical girl, it was useless. He saw how badly the brother wanted to become a wand himself. Indeed, evil meets its own end. In the end, Nuzamura and Zhao Wu redeemed each other, and the story comes to a close.